Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. A section of Constant Spring Arcade gutted by fire. Police grapple with limited resources in road traffic operations. And later in sports, Australia beats India on dramatic final day of fourth test. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sandy Williams. Here are the details. Fire destroyed a section of the Constant Spring Arcade this morning. It's believed to have started sometime before 9 a.m. TVJ News understands that 2 cook shops were destroyed. Eyewitnesses say firefighters from the Halfway Tree Fire Service arrived quickly enough to prevent the blaze from spreading.
4 units, 1 from Halfway Tree, 1 from Stony Hill, and 2 from York Park. On arrival on the scene, they would have observed 3 shops on fire, 2 severely burning. Upon completion, 2 was completely destroyed and 1 partially destroyed. So we would have dispatched with 23 firefighters and used 1 jet to combat the blaze.
A team from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, led by Kingston Mayor Andrew Swaby, are currently on the scene. Now we'll have more story in subsequent newscasts, more development rather on this story in subsequent newscast. The police's ability to manage road traffic operations continues to be hampered by a shortage of human resources. This, according to head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, ACP Dr. Gary Mackenzie, who was speaking on Power 106's Morning Agenda earlier. Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, ACP Dr. Gary Mackenzie, has acknowledged that a shortage of human resources makes it impossible for officers to cover all intersections. Despite the challenge, he assured the public that officers will maintain a visible presence at key intersections, particularly those deemed most problematic.
Some of them, we have junction boxes, which are those zebra-looking boxes, where persons should not stop in them and we expect that they will conform. The fact that those will not come on stream fully all at once, the police will have to be there, and so we will be there at the intersections that we can afford to be at and those that are most problematic. But the truth is that the resources will not be there to be at all the intersections that are sometimes very challenging.
To bolster these efforts, the law provides for the installation of surveillance cameras at intersections, which could play a critical role in monitoring and detecting traffic breaches. ACP Dr. Mackenzie revealed that work is ongoing to enhance these surveillance systems, signaling hope for improved traffic management in the future.
The system in terms of being able to look at intersections, to view intersections and so on, that is also already in place for quite a bit of places. In fact, we have been able to utilize this system to aid us within for investigations and in our deployments and so on. The fact is that we need now to close the system in terms of putting in the processes to be able to prosecute and to inform drivers and owners of motor vehicles that are so detected.
Some good news for the National Road Safety Council NRSC. Vice Chairman Dr. Lucian Jones expressed the Council's willingness to collaborate with the Minister of National Security to advance discussions on the surveillance system.
We're hoping that we'll make some progress with this. We have been having discussions with the Minister and Ministry of National Security. They are responsible for introducing the cameras, put the cameras in the system. We're hoping to make some progress in 2025.
In terms of road safety, 363 lives have been lost in traffic fatalities since the start of the year. a grim statistic, but a notable improvement compared to the 425 deaths recorded over the same period last year. Dr. Jones described the reduction of 62 fatalities as a huge improvement, though he noted that the figures remain alarming.
We are happy that it's less than last year. Our goal really is to go down to about 220, which is based on the WHO's mandate to reduce road fatalities by 50% by 2030 during the decade of road safety, which is halfway through. And our baseline figure for 2021 was 480. So that's the target we have in the first instance, and we are moving towards that.
More breathalyzers, less road fatalities. At least that's the belief of Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones. He was also speaking on Power 106's Morning Agenda this morning. Dr. Jones says in addition to the installation of surveillance cameras on the roads, the improvement of the breathalyzer system will help significantly to reduce road fatalities.
The data, as we have said before, is very clear. 30% of drivers internationally have been found to be driving under influence of alcohol when they meet in a fatal crash. We don't believe Jamaica is peculiar. And the data so far that we're getting is about 4%. So we need to increase the pickup. We need to increase the numbers of breathalyzers we have across the island. And we need to increase the training. That is happening now on our part. We have received international funding from the United Nations Road Safety Fund to purchase more breathalyzers and to train the police to use them and deploy them more effectively.
And motorists are being urged to exercise caution when traveling along sections of the North Coast Highway. This due to an oil spill from Cooper's Pen Trelawney to Bengal at the Trelawney-St. Anne border. The police are advising motorists to proceed with extreme caution because the road is slippery. The police say they are working with emergency services to resolve the issue in the quickest possible time. An urgent call this afternoon for the appointment of a new appeal tribunal for the Financial Services Commission, FSC. According to opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson, the FSC tribunal has been non-existent since August last year. It's why he says Finance Minister Favour Williams should deal with the matter urgently.
No new members have been appointed. That has left appellants without any recourse and in limbo in the absence of an appeals tribunal. This is really a dereliction of duty on the part of the Holness administration and needs to be rectified speedily. It is important for good governance and accountability within the financial services sector for individuals or firms who feel that they have been aggrieved by a decision of the FSC to be able to appeal.
Tribunal is crucial for addressing grievances against FSC decisions and ensuring accountability and transparency in Jamaica's financial sector. President of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Metro Siaga, is heaping praises on the government and the Jamaica Constabulary Force for the 18% decline in murders this year when compared with the corresponding period last year. Outlining the achievement last week, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake also signaled the police high command's intention to ramp up operations for 2025. Mr. Siaga says the reduction in major crimes has brought relief to many families. He believes the strategic approach of the government and the JCF to tackle the issue is working.
I think that we have made a major dent in crime, and that's really good news. I think that the government has been I don't want to say absolved, but what they have done has worked and has worked well. I think with the help of CMAC, that the PSOJ has been a big part of, has really helped to get major crimes under control. I don't think we understand how many families have been spared the horrible effects of what 18% reduction in crime has brought to us. So for that, I am very happy, grateful, and continue to work hard to help the government and any government that's in power to get this monster under control. And I think we're almost there.
It's time for a break, but stay with us. The Business Minute and news from overseas when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News and thanks for staying with us. The Jamaican authorities on Saturday repatriated 21 Cuban nationals who illegally arrived in the country. According to Cuba's Ministry of the Interior, the group was returned through the port of Santiago de Cuba, and it was the first operation of this kind carried out by Jamaica by sea. It says the majority of the nationals sent back are individuals who embarked on their journeys on rafts from Ganma province, located in eastern Cuba. The migrants, who arrived in 3 batches, came ashore in St. James in the vicinity of the Half Moon Hotel. They were detained at the Freeport police lockup for processing and later removed to another location. According to the Cuban media, due to the dire situation in that country, coupled with a lack of freedom, continues to drive nationals to take risks in the hope of reaching the United States and other countries. It's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Nakinski Robinson.
The country's agricultural exports amounted to only $52 million during the first 8 months of this year, despite promising international demand for these products. This has influenced a decision by local company Rainforest Caribbean to increase its product lines to fill some of the gaps in demand for agricultural products. New products being introduced by Rainforest include frozen fruit bars, blended food products, as well as festival and Johnny cake mixes. The company adds that retailers in diaspora markets have already reported strong interest from their customers in these products. Further afield, gas prices are expected to drop in 2025 for the 3rd straight year. GasBuddy expects the national average for regular gas to fall to $3.22 a gallon. That's about 10 cents less than in 2024. According to GasBuddy, if the projections hold, the typical household should spend about $2,250 on fuel next year. But gas prices could be disrupted by several factors, including President-elect Donald Trump's threatened tariffs on Canada and Mexico. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Nakinski Robinson.
And here's Antonia Atkinson with the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Keith Rowley has declared a state of emergency following a quadruple killing in Laventille. The 4 men were killed in an apartment. It's the latest in a series of gang-related attacks. The authorities have been alerted to heightened criminal activities, which they say endangers the public safety. The last state of emergency was declared in 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic and another in 2014 in response to rising crime. The country has recorded over 620 murders this year, an unprecedented number. And internationally, at least 71 people have died in Ethiopia after a truck carrying passengers plunged into a river in the Bona district. The truck missed a bridge and fell into the river, with many sharp bends on the road. The passengers, some returning from a wedding, were reportedly overloaded, which likely contributed to the accident. 5 others are in critical condition. Deadly traffic accidents are common in Ethiopia due to poor driving standards and poorly maintained vehicles. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
We head to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.